Initiating moisture.
So today we're going to be talking about The Black Phone with Ethan Hawke. For whatever reason, originally I thought that this was associated with Sam Raimi, and I could have sworn that I saw posters or promotional material or of any kind really that was talking about from the director of Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. And there were shots in Doctor Strange and the original Spider-Man trilogy that I thought looked like, I mean, they're like close and they rotate the camera really slowly. And there were shots like this in this movie. So starting off with what I didn't like, which is not a lot. I feel like the pacing of the movie, and me and Logan kind of talked about this. This is kind of like a general issue. I feel like the pacing was exposition took up a huge chunk of the movie. Like it felt really slow, and then there's a point where when Finney gets taken, that then boom, everything happens, and it's over like almost like that. I don't know if that's what you thought, but
I feel like there was a lot of I was gonna say it was unnecessary like beforehand stuff, but it added to it. So I don't know, I feel like it just could have been like 15 minutes longer, add some more where he after he gets thrown into the basement. That's not much of a spoiler.
No.
So but yeah, there's a lot of details that I think could have been had if you added like 15 minutes to any of the basement parts.
Yeah, because this film's only an hour and 43 minutes, which I don't know. For me, I looked at the runtime before the movie, and to me, the movie felt way longer than an hour and 43. It could have went a little while longer, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah, from the opening Coors Light can to the kidnapping, what felt like an hour. I don't know how long it was.
Yeah.
It could have been 45 minutes. It could have been an hour. It could have been 30 minutes even. But it seemed really long.
Yeah.
But then after that, it seemed like 15 or 20 minutes of enjoyable, I don't know, like the actual thriller part of the movie. So it didn't feel like a long movie total, but definitely the beginning build up felt like a long time.
Yeah. And maybe this is me nitpicking. Maybe I don't know. But literally the first frame of the film, like outside of like introducing like the opening intro with the characters and the actors and everything, and like the first frame of the film is a dude holding a can of Coors Light. Like, how do you open a film with product placement? You see Coors Light, literally the first frame, he's sitting here and it's just right there, the camera, and it zooms out and then it tells you it's in 1978, which I don't know. I mean, that's like it's not a major thing because it's like probably 3 or 4 seconds of the camera zooming out from Coors Light into a baseball game.
Yeah.
But it's the first thing you see. Like, you could have just had the camera zoom in and it's a baseball game in 1978. But I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Product placement, cool. But yeah, the general like backstory. I don't know how much I want to say here because we're teetering on the line of spoilers versus no spoilers. I think we're going more no spoilers, but one of the first there's multiple kids that get abducted, which I don't know if that's in the trailer.
It's implied, I would say.
The paper boy, which you get. They introduce like from the first to the latest, which is Finney of abductees, and you get the phone call, then backstory, then little segment, and it's really repetitive and formulaic. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and then it's all set up for one final thing. And I feel like there was no reason to really have a couple of these characters that you never see in the film until the phone call. Like, the first person that's kidnapped that you see get kidnapped is Bruce, but he's not the first to call you. So I feel like if you had met the people, then there's more of a connection, but like, I don't know. It kind of, I don't know.
That's what I was saying or thinking right after, pretty much. I feel like in the trailer, the original trailer, I don't know when it was. I feel like it was last August or something when I saw the original trailer, because this got bumped back.
Yeah,
multiple
and
months, like multiple months.
IGN was dropping IGN dropped its review of this film in October of 2021, and then this movie didn't drop. It was, I think, what was it, February that it was supposed to come out?
Yeah,
March?
it was supposed to be February.
So it was supposed to be February, and I don't know what happened that caused it to get pushed back to June.
Yeah, I have no
But
idea.
it did all month long. So yeah.
Oh, there's multiple. I don't know about multiple, but there's a few moments in the trailer that you never see. And there was a couple that I was like excited to see because it seemed like it was a big moment, and then it just never happened. So I feel like some of the characters that are in the movie that are part of the whole phone sequence, I feel like they were more in depth at one point and they nuked them. So I don't know how accurate that is, but it just feels like that. Like that's what happened, but I don't know.
Yeah, and that was another point where I thought Sam Raimi, when Sam Raimi was the director, or if he was at all, I don't know. I swear, it's like a Mandela effect, Berenstain versus Berenstein, that he was involved in some capacity. But Sam Raimi does that in a lot of his films, like Doctor Strange. They had a line in the trailer that never appeared in the movie, and so when Logan mentioned that, I thought, oh, it's Sam Raimi. Like, the cinematography is very Sam Raimi. The cutting stuff out of the trailer is very Sam Raimi, and the pacing is very Sam Raimi, because Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is like a ton of intro, and then boom, there's just boom, and then all the major stuff happens, and it's over, and it's short. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I can't keep saying Sam Raimi because it wasn't directed by Sam Raimi, but yeah, that's my major thing I was going to talk about, and then it's like, oh, it wasn't directed by Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
But I would say the ending was very satisfying. I would say it was set up pretty well, and things kind of build off of each other, and it made a good film.
Yeah.
I liked that it's realistic. I like that if you cut out the paranormal kind of supernatural kind of things out of it, that it could happen in a realistic way. Like, you could just have the little things built into the cell down there, that if you added some kind of little bit that Finney is secretly very smart, and then you put those little plot points in there, and then he just does it himself. But yeah, that's, I don't know. What would you give it on the moist meter? Because we can kind of meet in the middle on the final moist meter score.
Did we ever? We didn't ever actually mention the moist meter portion of this in this.
Oh yeah,
version.
That's right. So, I mean, as you can tell from the thumbnail, the title, the moist meter intro, this is a moist meter of the Black Phone, because Charles White, Moist Critical, Penguin Zero, he does not like, or doesn't like horror films, which, calling this a horror film, it's not really. It's like drama thriller kind of thing. Like, there's not, like, there's some gory sequences, but I wouldn't say it's like, oh my god, like this is like.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 3 jump scares in the movie where you jump in your seat and you're like, oh my god, but it's not like, not what I would think of when I think of a horror movie. But
Yeah.
since Charlie didn't do one on Black Phone, decided we would do one, kind of a little, almost
homage.
yeah. It's kind of a parody. It's kind of a just a general. We wanted to film this video to talk about this movie, which we should have done this before with the Batman and the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I'm not sure. Was that pre this setup?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Those two were both, so. Yeah, I don't know, I think we said on the voice meter that this would be, I said kind of a 90, like on the high end.
I originally said 85, but my only point of it getting docked was every dialogue outside of the kidnapper's house is very weird, but my excuse would be that it's the 70s, I guess. I couldn't tell you, I wasn't there obviously, so I don't know, maybe that's how people were, but it seemed very
there are just certain lines where it doesn't make sense when they're taking place, and then they make sense at the end, and it's like not something that a real person would probably say. And even like it didn't, a couple, like one, at least one of the lines made sense when it was first used, but didn't make any sense at the end, to me at least. Like, not really. Kind of, maybe.
Assuming I know what you're talking about. I mean,
with Bruce.
Yeah. I would say it was kind of a,
like it had to be explained.
It worked, but it was like shoehorned in.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So if you gave this an 80 on the voice meter, probably.
No, I'm gonna bump it up to a 90 because the crappy dialogue outside of the actual like reason you're watching it, I don't think needs to dock it down to an 85.
Yeah. So. I figured you'd say 80 and we'd meet in the middle at 85, but you'd say 90.
I don't know. I'm just gonna go 90.
Yeah. I think 90 is a fair.
It doesn't claim anything. Like it doesn't. Yeah. I mean, you get what you expect. I guess you get what you deserve.
Yeah. The only thing I don't know, because if you put this at a 90, then what's the Batman?
I mean,
the same.
You have to.
You can't really put them on the same
like
palette.
The genres of movie are divided in my head at least.
Yeah.
So this is a horror movie 90, but like. Batman,
it's not a family comedy 90.
Yeah. So
that's fair. Divisions of the voice meter.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. I'm not sure if that's how Charles does it. I don't think it's how Charles does it.
That's how Charles does it. I think he just does it on like
his
concrete, like
the base
cinematography, music, like actors, cast, all that.
Yeah.
Which
that's fair, I guess, but you know, it could be random Joe Blow off the street, and if it's good, I don't care. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be anybody.
Because I mean, it was Ethan Hawke, and you don't see Ethan Hawke a ton in the movie. I feel like you see literally every other character more than Ethan Hawke.
That was his main, because originally when he got like picked to do it, he didn't want to do it because he normally doesn't play.
Yeah, doesn't do horror films. Usually
he's done
the
a
bad
couple.
guy.
He's not the bad guy, and that's why he has a mask on, pretty much like. Actually, probably like 99% of the movie.
Yeah, well, I don't think you never see his full face. Even at the end, like you never.
At the end, it's kind of there.
Yeah, but it's.
I won't say anything, but it's kind of there at the end. But.
Yeah, but even then, he tries to cover it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. He did a really, like. I was trying to think of a word how to phrase it. Like the Joker is a very
niche.
I was gonna say he's a very like blatantly insane person. Like there's clearly something wrong with him, but this guy, it seems more like realistic issues because he doesn't.
He reminds me of Onision. Like if Onision was a magician in the 1970s, looks like him, acts like him, kind of talks like him.
Yeah.
If Onision kidnapped little boys, which he might. I think he does actually. I think he has some issues with minors.
Yeah, so maybe this is actually based on him.
Yeah, maybe this is Onision, but taken back to the 1970s.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. So 90 on the moist meter.
Yeah.
So
Solid 90.
yeah, I'd say that's a solid 90. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's basically it. See.